Hello, sixth form. Today we're going to continue reading Billionaire Boy, Chapter 7. Chapter 7, Gerbils on Toast. I bought you something, said Joe. He and Bob were sitting on the bench in the playground, watching the more agile kids play football. Just because you're a billionaire doesn't mean you have to buy me anything, said Bob. I know, but... Joe brought a large bar of dairy milk out of his bag. Bob's eyes couldn't help but light up a little. We can share it, said Joe, before snapping off a tiny square of chocolate, then breaking that tiny square in half. Bob's face fell. I'm only joking, said Joe. Here. He handed Bob the bar to help himself. Oh no, said Bob. What? Said Joe. Bob pointed. The grubs were walking slowly across the playground towards them, right through the games of football. Not that anyone dared to complain. Quick, let's make a run for it, said Bob. Where? The dining room. They wouldn't dare go in there. No one does. Why? You'll see. When they burst into the dining room, it was completely empty, aside for a lone diner lady. The grubs burst in a few paces behind them, their genders still uncertain. If you aren't eating, get out, shouted Mrs. Trafe. But Mrs. Trafe, said either Dave or Sue. I said out. The twins reluctantly retreated as Joe and Bob tentatively made their way to the serving counter. Mrs. Trafe was a large, smiley soul of dinner lady age. Bob has explained on the way to the canteen that she was very nice enough, but her food was truly revolting. The kids in the school would rather die than eat anything she cooked. In fact, they probably would die if they ate anything she cooked. Who's that then? Said Mrs. Truffle, peering at Joe. This is my friend Joe, said Bob. Despite the vile smell in the canteen, Joe felt warmth spread through him. No one had ever called him their friend before. Now, what would you like today, boys? Mrs. Truff said with a warm smile. I have a very nice badger and onion pie, some deep-fried rust, or, for the vegetarians, I have jacket potatoes with sock cheese. It all looks so nice, said Bob, lying, as the grubs stared in at them through the grimy windows. Mrs. Truff's cooking was truly unspeakable. A typical week's menu for the school canteen looked like this. Monday, soup of the day, wasp, gerbils on toast, or hare lasagna, vegetarian option, or brick cutlet, all served with deep-fried cardboard. Dessert, a slice of sweet cake. Tuesday, soup of the day, caterpillar consommé, macaroni snot, vegetarian option, or roadkill bake, or slipper frittata, all served with spider's web salad. Dessert, toenail ice cream. Wednesday, soup of the day, cream of hedgehog, parrot ketchery, main contain nuts, or dandruff risotto, or a bread sandwich, slice of bread between two slices of bread, or char grilled kitten, healthy option, or soil bolognese, all served with either boiled wood or deep-fried iron fillings. Dessert, squirrel dropping tart with cream or ice cream. Thursday, Indian day. Soup of the day, turban. To start, paper poppadoms, A4 or A3 sizes with chutney. Main course, wet wipe tandoori, vegan, or moth korma, spicy, or newt vindaloo, very spicy. All served with boogie bhajis. Dessert, a refreshing sand sorbet. Friday, soup of the day, terrapin pan-fried otter sticks, or owl quiche, kosher, or boiled poodle, not suitable for vegetarians, all served with a slice of gravy. Dessert, mouse mousse. It's so hard to choose, said Bob, desperately scoring the trays of food for something edible. I think we will just have 2 jacket potatoes, please. Is there any chance I could have it without the sock cheese? Pleaded Joe. Bob looked hopefully at Mrs. Truff. I could sprinkle on some ear-waxing shavings if you prefer. Or a showering of dandruff, offered Mrs. Truff with a smile. I think I will just have it totally plain, please, said Joe. Some boiled mould on the side, perhaps? You're growing, boys, offered Mrs. Truff, wielding up a serving spoon of something green and unspeakable. I'm on a diet, Mrs. Truffle, said Joe. Me too, said Bob. That's a shame, boys, said the dinner lady dolefully. I have a smashing dessert on today, jellyfish and custard. My absolute favorite too, said Joe. Never mind. He took his tray to one of the empty tables and sat down. As he put his knife and fork into the potato, he realized that Mrs. Truff had forgotten to cook it. How are your spots? Called Mrs. Truff across the hall. Delicious, thank you, Mrs. Truff, Joe called back as he pushed his raw potato round the plate. It was still covered in soil, and he noticed a maggot burrowing out of it. I hate it when they are too well done. This is perfect. Good, good, she said. Bob was trying to chew his, but it was so utterly unedible, he started crying. Something the matter, boy? Called Mrs. Truffle. Oh no, it's so delicious that these are tears of joy, said Bob. Dring! Once again, that wasn't your doorbell, reader. It was the bell to signal the end of lunch. Joe let out a sigh of relief. Dinner hour was over. Oh, what a shame, Mrs. Truff, said Joe. We have to go to our maths lesson now. Mrs. Truff limped over and inspected their plates. You've hardly touched them, she said. Sorry, it was just so filling and really, really tasty, though, said Joe. Second Bob, still crying. Well, it doesn't matter. I can put them in the fridge for you and you can finish them off tomorrow. Joe and Bob shared a horrified look. Really, I don't want you to go to any trouble, said Joe. No trouble at all. See you then. And I've got some specials tomorrow. It's the anniversary of the bombing of Pearl Harbor, so it's Japanese Day. I'm doing my armpit hair sushi, followed by tadpole tempura. Boys? I think the grubs have gone, said Bob as they sneaked out of the canteen. I've just got to use the bog. I'll wait for you, said Joe. He leaned against the wall as Bob disappeared through a door. Usually Joe would have said that the lavatories were smelly, and he had been terrified to have to use them after the privacy of his own en-suite bathroom with emperor-sized bath. But the truth was that the toilets didn't smell as bad as the canteen. Suddenly, Joe sensed 2 figures looming behind him. He didn't need to turn round. He knew it was the grubs. Where is he? Said one. He's in the boys' loo, but you can't go in there, said Joe. Well, not both of you anyway. Where's the chocolate bar? Asked the other. Bob's got it, said Joe. Well, we'll wait for him then, said the grub. The other grub turned to Joe and deadly look in its eye. Now give us a pound, unless you want a dead arm, that is. Joe gulped. Actually, I'm glad I bumped into you 2 guys. Well, guy and girl, obviously. Obviously, said Dave or Sue. Give us a pound. Wait, said Joe. It's just, I wondered if... Give him a dead arm, Sue, said a grub, revealing, for perhaps the first time, which of the twins was male and which was female. But then the grubs grabbed Joe and spun him around and he lost track again. No, wait, said Joe. The thing is, I want to make you two an offer.